Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So as many of you guys know, we are cracking on with the Vanos solenoids. Now I did try to record the first part because I've already actually removed two of them, but it was literally impossible. I was having to swing over the car, hang inside the car, stick my head down near all the pulleys and look upwards. It was absolutely unbelievable what I was having to do to get to the little Torque 20 screws, but we managed to get to them. Now, I believe this is a job everyone should do, and I'm really glad to be doing this video. Now, I am going to be recording removing the other two from the other side on this side, which is my passenger side, because the driver's side two are already out. But I found one issue. As many of you guys know, I said to you about replacing the seals. Now, of course, that's fine, and you can do that, and it actually really does help the solenoids if your solenoids don't have other issues, which I'm going to be showing you later on the video from two that I've actually removed this side. But now we're going to remove the other two and make sure they're not like it before I show you what has actually happened on this side, because now I'm going to have to buy actually new solenoids. Now BMW want nearly £600 a piece. Now I know I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy, so I'm therefore not going to be paying that price. And even with my trade discount, they're still telling me it's going to work out about £3.80 each. So for four, it's under £1. But I still do not want to be paying that kind of money for four Vanos solenoids. So I have found another option, but I will get onto that on another video. But today I'm just going to be removing them. I'm not going to be replacing no seals, not until I know the condition of these coming out of here, because what I saw on one of them on the other one is absolutely unbearable, and I will not be reinstalling that into my M5. And there's purely a reason for that, and that is probably why this car has been running like a bag of crap, and why my Vanos codes were completely all over the place, and the running issues were completely bad on this car from the get-go. So I'm not going to talk anymore, guys. Let's get onto the video and remove the Vanos solenoids on the S85.
Goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you.
So if you can see right down here, two of the solenoids have already come out. I've already got them out, and they're now clear. So they were an absolute nightmare to get out, and I'm going to be showing you how to actually reinstall them when we actually put them back in a much easier way, and how to get the screws in without actually dropping them, because many of you guys don't know, they are very tiny Torx T20s. Now, little did I know when I actually removed these, I'll be honest with you, there was only one bolt in each of them, and I'm very surprised at that. Either someone's been down here before, or when the BMW dealers actually done this, they actually didn't put all the screws back in, and I wouldn't understand why. Also, the one of the bolts here holding this solenoid was actually cross-threaded, so I had to actually bang on another socket in order to get that off, because it wouldn't actually come off with the T20. Obviously, I'm sitting there for ages trying to get it off, and then having to look up there, realised it was all threaded and I couldn't get it out. So I had managed to sort it out. It did take me a long time, because there isn't much clearance between here and obviously the AC compressor to hit a hammer on there, so it took me a long time to actually get it out, but I got it out in the end. I'm having to order new bolts for the solenoids, because obviously it was missing two and I'm not happy with that, so I have ordered new bolts as well. They're going to be coming. However, I have checked these two and they do have all four of their bolts. Now you can probably see why these look like they've never been changed. They're quite rusty. I am going to be probably replacing all four of them. I'm going to find out another way of actually buying them. As I said, today's video is going to be simply removing them, and we'll have to come back to the video later on trying to show you how to reinstall them once I manage to sort out where I'm buying them from, how much they are, and where I can get them from, so I can let you guys know as well. Obviously, I'm going to try and find them as the best price possible for you lot to go and buy them, because I know this is a common problem. I know this video is going to get viewed a lot, and when you actually see the issue, why you actually need to do this job and how easy it actually is, a lot of you are going to be going ahead and actually removing the solenoids, and therefore I want to try and find them as cheap as possible for you guys to actually be able to go and afford to buy, because this is not a job you want to be doing again. It's a very hard job, and as you can see, every coolant hoses out of here to be able to get to all the solenoids, and therefore it's a one-time job you want to get right the first time and get it all done and put it all back together. So therefore, I am going to now be removing the solenoids. It's very, very easy to do on this side itself, but as I said, driver side is an absolute nightmare. So let's get on. I'm going to remove all the bolts. You are going to have to be careful because they are T20s and they can easily drop as they unscrew. You'll see here, I've just got normal T20 Allen key. It's nothing spectacular. We're just going to go in there and remove the solenoids. Now forgive me if my head gets in the way. There's a lot of things I can't help, but obviously this is one of them, because obviously I need to be able to see, but also you guys need to be able to see. So if you can see here, I have took out all the coolant lines, and obviously you just want to locate the screws, which are right up here, and then you're going to want to unscrew them out. But you see, you're going to have to be careful here because of the way they unscrew. But I have been learning as I've been going along doing this, because it's the first time I've ever done it like this. Anyway, I know I've done it with the Vanos units off before, but never in this kind of position. I am trying my best, guys, to be able to try and film this as well as you know, let you guys see, but it's really, really not easy. And if you can see there, that's one of the Torx 20 bolts out of there. It's dropped straight into the tray, so we've got it now there in the tray. Now we're going to target the other ones, and we've just got that other bolt as well in our hand, and then that's done. Now what we're going to have to do is get tissue, because obviously, many of you guys know, when we pull that solenoid, it's going to end up leaking oil out of it, because obviously they're pressurized, and obviously you're going to be introducing air to the Vanos unit. So therefore I need to get tissue to put down here onto the belts before oil drops down. So all we're going to do is we're going to put this here and cover all the connector, just so why it leaks when we budge it out, just like that. And if you can see, oil is going to come out, and we have to be very careful. It won't leak much, but it will still leak a bit. Okay guys, so now what I've done is I've removed the other connector off the plug, and if you can see what I've done here, I've actually wrapped one of the connectors in tissue. That's for that way I remember which one is what, and this one is one that goes here. It's much easier than having to remember which plug actually goes where, or getting the risk of mixing them up, as I told you. On the other side, I remember which one's what, because one of the tabs actually on the other side is actually broken, so I know which one goes where, because when I took it off it was actually like that. What we're going to go ahead and do now is now release the other solenoid for the other side. So we're going to release the bolts there, and please bear in mind these are only hand tight, so they will unloosen quite easily. So before you do this, you don't need to put much pressure on them to release the screws. See, all I have to do is just turn them. They're not in there very tightly at all, because they don't have to be. Just keep that in mind. Now I know I'm not showing you where the bolts are located, because it's very hard to even get a camera in there to point it upwards at where the bolts are, but you can see where my hand's going, where the actual bolts are. As I said, when you come to do this job, you should be able to locate it. Like I said, if you can't manage to get them out, then you shouldn't be working on any car, to be honest, because a lot of people seem to believe take off the Vanos units and take off the valve cover to take the Vanos units off to get to the solenoids. If you have to do that, clearly you don't know how to work your way around cars, and you shouldn't be touching a car full stop. You should not need to remove the valve cover to remove the Vanos units to do the solenoids. There's many different ways, and if you've been in the trade long enough, you can surely work yourself around finding ways around it to try and get to things in any position on a car, just like I do. Yes, I'm using a basic Torx 20 Allen key, but to put the bolts back up, you ain't going to be able to do that, because you'll end up dropping them, unless you've got a magnetic one, which again is still the risk of dropping them. So therefore I don't advise trying to attempt to do this with a normal Torx Allen key bit. You need to try and either make up your own tool, or you need to get something fabricated in order to be able to get in there to be able to get them. As I said, when it comes to the driver's side, a lot of you are going to moan, a lot of you are going to piss and moan. Please bear in mind, when you're actually doing this job, it can take you hours. Do not expect to be doing this in 10 minutes. It's took me a long time to understand how to do this myself, to get it this quick, and how to get to all the bolts. You're going to take a long time to learn, and so you're not going to be able to do this in a day's job. So bear in mind, if you're planning to use your car or anything like that, do not think you're going to be able to put your car back on the road tomorrow. It's just simply not going to happen. It's a very long job to do, and it takes a lot of patience and skill, but the rewards of doing this are magnificent, because it makes your car drive like new. And like I said, you need to be careful with these bolts to be able to capture them, otherwise you will risk dropping them, and that's another problem. Now the last one we got is down here. This one you're going to have to turn out manually. You're not going to be able to use the long bit to try and turn this out, because it just won't fit down there. And do make sure you get the O-rings out of there as well, because you're going to have to replace all the O-rings. The O-rings sit at the top here in the ceiling bit, which I'm going to be showing you in a sec. But if you can see here, it does look easy, but believe me, it's not easy. It takes a long time to work out what one you got to target first to be able to get access to the rest of them. And like I said, realistically, it's all about you using your head to come up with ways of how you're going to do it before you actually decide to just pull them out. This is not the kind of job you can just think you're going to go ahead and do without proper planning first, unless you've got a place to store your car and leave it and you've got another car to use. I would not recommend doing this if this is your only car to use at all, because if this is your only car, this car is going to be off the road for a long time. If you break one of the screws or cross thread them badly enough that you can't get it out, you will be left without no car, and you're going to be therefore having to get that out. So I do recommend, if you are planning to do this job, please have everything set before you even attempt to do it, because as you see, there's a lot of stuff removed from this engine. Now we've got that one sorted. Now what we're going to do here is just remove the tissue, remove that connector, and if you can see here, you've got flags on the plugs as well, and this is what I was going to show you. You've got little flags which tells you which is intake and which is exhaust side, and this is the exhaust one right here, and that's the intake side that I've got covered. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this one out of here as well now. Just like that. And we've now got that one out as well. You'll see right there, that's the other solenoid out of the car. And you just want to clean it up because you don't want oil leaking everywhere. As I said, you're introducing air into the system, so do remember as well, if you don't have ISTA, don't do this job, because you're going to have to bleed the system after hours. It will destroy your Vanos units. Now if you can see right here, the solenoid, and it's got minor play in it, but again, these shouldn't have any kind of play whatsoever. Like I said, I would have changed just the O-rings, but I'm going to be changing the whole solenoids, because the fact being is a lot of people, when they get components in their oil from the rod bearings actually failing, they end up being pushed up to the solenoids. Then they clog all the little oil passages right there, which then in turn stops them actually functioning properly. And that's what I believe has probably happened with this, based with the rod bearings on this car. So therefore, like I say, I am changing all four of them because I want to look after this car properly, and I want to do things the correct way. I don't believe these ones are in use anymore. These were superseded. These are black ones. They've now moved to version 2, which are the silver ones, and they're much better than these. So therefore, it doesn't make sense for me to go and put these back in, still have the same issue, and be back here again doing the same thing. So it makes more sense for me to actually replace the solenoids. So I'll just go ahead and show you quickly all four solenoids so you can see. So you can see we've got the first one here, we've got another one of them here, and this is the one with the major play. As you'll see, look how much play that's got in the shaft. That shouldn't have that much play. You can actually see it jingling. This is one of the reasons why I said I'm not going to be putting this one back in, because look, it looks like it's going to fall off. It's actually like really badly got play in it, much more than this one. If you can see, this one's much more stiff and much more usable. This one though has got excess play in it, and it's not right in the shaft. Therefore, I'm not going to be putting that one back in by no means, because that could actually snap off in a Vanos adjuster, and then we'll be in a world of big problems. We've also got this one, which don't have much play in it either, but I know a lot of you are going to say, why don't I just reuse them? I'm not planning to, because the black ones are the old ones, and then we've got that one as well. Now I did expect the two latest ones to have actually black O-rings that BMW replaced, but as you can see, they've actually got still all the green ones, so it means this car, where it's been an early model, still has the old ones. Now if you can see on this one right here, this was the other one that actually took out from the left bank, so bank 1, which is the driver's side, and this one doesn't have hardly any play, and this is because I think these are the ones that BMW actually replaced. This was one of them, but the one with a serious play is over here, which is quite concerning, which is this one. This one has so much serious play in it, and this is why I said to you guys, when you pull them out, make sure you check them, because do not think of trying to be cheap to put the O-rings in here. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. If you see here, I actually bought all the O-rings to actually do it. So I was actually planning to do the O-rings, but obviously where I found that one, where they're all black, they've all got obviously the green O-ring on them. I don't feel comfortable putting these back and reusing them, especially not with the shaft like that, all wobbling around everywhere. It's just not usable for me, and there's no way I want to risk that going back in my car and then this end up coming off or coming loose or causing me any other issues. So therefore, I'm choosing to replace all four of them. You've seen me remove them now from the passenger side as well, which is bank 2, and I hope this video will actually help you remove them. Obviously I will be doing another video installing them, so you can see how I put everything back together and how we reinstall all of these and get the screws in. So guys, as you would have seen there, I've now removed the Vanos solenoids completely from the S85 engine. Now I know many of you are not going to like that I didn't show you how to do one side, but it's exactly the same both sides. The only difference is it's actually harder to get to one of the screws. Now, as I said, if you do have difficulty getting to the screws, realistically, you shouldn't be playing with the car full stop, and really take it to a garage and let them do it. A lot of garages have pre-fabricated tools, just like I'm going to do to put them back. And a lot of garages know what they're doing and know how to work around difficult things like this. If you have ever worked in a garage, this will be a doddle for you to actually undertake the job yourself. But as I said, it is a very, very easy and straightforward job. Like I said, providing you don't have no play in your shafts of your Vanos solenoids, you should be able to just take them out, replace the O-rings and put them back inside your engine. But for me, someone had already been down here, and these were the two right on the driver's side that actually were replaced on my M5 by BMW. So BMW haven't put two of the screws back when they actually did this job. Secondly, they've actually cross-threaded one of the bolts when actually putting it back, so I think they've used the wrong torques in the first place. And thirdly, that I don't think they actually did replace it, because one of the shafts, as you saw on the solenoid, that was actually replaced, was really got a lot of play in it, and I'm not prepared to actually put that back in my engine. So as I said, we will have a coming up video reinstalling them, and I'll show you how to actually put the bolts back in without dropping them, so then you guys get the drift of it, so you guys can do it back on your car. And I'll also be replacing them with the new version 2 ones, and I will link them below when we do the next video, so you guys know where to actually go and buy them if you want to do this job on your car. But you saw there, very easy on the passenger side to actually get all the screws out. I did it in no time. And the only side you will have difficulty with is the driver's side, but you'll easily work around that with your brain and sitting there thinking how you can get to it. You'll end up using all different tools until you actually get to it. So I hope your video is actually going to help you guys. Thank you very much for watching. This BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.